The sun is setting over the Heartland ranch, the sky painted in shades of gold and crimson. There's a quiet tension in the air, as if the earth itself is holding its breath. Amy, working with the horses, seems lost in thought, her movements slow and deliberate. But deep down, we know she's waiting for something that could change everything. And then, out of the silence, comes the sound of a truck pulling into the yard. Could it be him? Could it be Ty? The sun hangs low in the sky, casting a soft, golden light over the ranch. The gentle sound of hooves on the dirt mixes with the distant chirping of birds. But despite the peaceful atmosphere, there's an undeniable weight in the air. Amy stands by the barn, brushing down one of the horses, her movements slow, almost robotic. Her thoughts are clearly elsewhere. Her fingers tremble as they run through the horse's mane, but she doesn't notice. Her mind is elsewhere, caught up in memories of a time when everything felt whole, when Ty was beside her, guiding her through the ups and downs of life on the ranch. She pauses, staring into the distance. The wind picks up slightly, rustling, the trees in the distance. For a moment, it feels like time itself has stopped. It's as if the whole world is holding its breath. Amy's heart begins to race, an unfamiliar feeling of anticipation creeping up inside her. Her body freezes, her hand still resting on the horse. Then, just as quickly, she hears it. The distant hum of an engine. The sound grows louder, closer. Her chest tightens. She knows that sound. She's heard it 1,000 times before. That old truck. The one Ty used to drive. Her breath catches in her throat. Could it be? Could it be him? Her heart beats faster as she turns slowly, scanning the horizon for any sign of the truck. And then, there it is. The familiar truck rolls into view, kicking up dust as it slowly makes its way toward the barn. Amy's knees feel weak. She stands frozen, not knowing what to do. It's been so long, too long. Her mind races, conflicting emotions crashing over her. Part of her wants to run to him, to throw her arms around him and never let go. Another part of her is terrified. What if it's just a dream? What if it's not really him? What if after all this time things have changed too much? The truck stops just a few feet away from her. The engine cuts off, and for a long, silent moment, nothing happens. The air feels thick, as though time has slowed down just for this moment. And then, slowly, the door creaks open. Ty's boots hit the ground with a soft thud as he steps out of the truck. Amy's breath catches in her throat. There he is, standing right in front of her. It's been so long, and yet, it feels like no time has passed at all. His familiar presence fills the space between them. His gaze meets hers, and for a second, everything else disappears. There are no words, no explanations, just the unspoken bond between them. Ty looks different. Older maybe, but still the same. His eyes are tired, but there's something in them. A longing, a deep love that speaks more than words ever could. He takes a hesitant step forward as if unsure of what to say, unsure of how to bridge the gap that time has created. Amy's heart races in her chest. She wants to move, to run into his arms, but her legs feel like they're made of stone. She stands still, watching him, her mind swirling with thoughts and feelings that she can't even begin to process. For a moment, neither of them speaks. It's as though the whole world is waiting for something. And then, with a shaky breath, Amy whispers, her voice barely audible, "Ty, is it really you?" Ty's lips curl into a soft, almost wistful smile. He takes another step forward, his voice low but steady. "It's me, Amy. I'm back. I couldn't stay away any longer." Amy's eyes well with tears, but she holds them back. Her heart is beating so loudly she can hear it in her ears. She wants to say something, anything, but the words are stuck in her throat. Everything she's felt, everything she's been through since he left, it all comes rushing back in an instant. Ty doesn't move, doesn't speak again. He just stands there waiting, his eyes filled with sincerity. He knows how much this moment means. He knows how much they've both been through, and he knows the weight of the emotions between them. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, Amy takes a tentative step toward him. Her legs feel shaky, like she might collapse at any moment. But she doesn't care. She's not sure what will happen next, but in this moment, none of that matters. All that matters is that Ty is back, and somehow everything is right again. The wind is still. The sound of the truck engine fades into the distance, leaving behind a heavy silence that settles over the entire ranch. Ty stands there, just a few feet away from Amy, as if he too is trying to process the weight of the moment. His hands rest at his sides, unsure of whether to reach out or stay still. Every second feels stretched, hanging in the air like the last breath before a storm. Amy can feel her heartbeat echoing in her chest. She's waiting for something, anything to break the stillness between them, but all she hears is the rustle of the leaves in the trees. Time seems to have stopped. Amy glances down at her hands, suddenly aware of how much they're trembling. She hasn't touched him in so long. The memory of his warmth, the way he used to hold her, seems like a dream. The weight of their shared history presses down on her. She wants to run to him to let everything out, the years of missing him, of living without him, but something holds her back. What if the distance between them is too much now? What if they've changed too much to ever go back to the way things were? The air feels thick. Her throat tightens as she tries to find the right words, but they slip away like sand between her fingers. Instead, she stays there, looking at him. She's searching his face, trying to figure out if he's still the same man she once knew. His expression is soft, almost vulnerable. He's not the same Ty who left. He's someone who's been through something, someone who has fought to come back to her. Ty takes a slow step forward, closing the distance between them by a fraction. His eyes never leave hers, and the intensity in his gaze pulls her in. It's as if he's trying to bridge the gap, to make her understand that he's here now and this is real. But Amy's mind is swirling with 1,000 questions. Why did he leave? What happened to him? Why did it take so long for him to come back? Amy opens her mouth to speak, but the words don't come. All the emotions she's been holding in for so long, grief, anger, love, longing, are crashing over her all at once. She wants to shout, to scream, to ask him everything that's been building up inside her since the day he left. But instead, she swallows hard, pushing the emotions back down. She can't do this yet. Not here. Not like this. Ty seems to sense her hesitation. His shoulders relax slightly and he takes another step closer, his voice gentle but firm. "I know it's been a long time, Amy," he says, his tone barely above a whisper. "And I know I've got a lot to make up for." He pauses, looking down, for a moment before meeting her gaze again. "But I'm here now. I came back. I couldn't keep running." Amy's heart tightens at his words. She wants to believe him, but the weight of the past, the pain of his absence, makes it hard. He wasn't here for so many moments that she needed him. The birthdays, the hard days at the ranch, the lonely nights when she thought of him and wondered where he was. It felt like she was living half a life, and now here he was standing in front of her asking for forgiveness. But can they just pick up where they left off? Can the past be forgotten? Or is it too late to fix what was broken? Ty notices the uncertainty in her eyes, and his expression softens. "Amy, I don't expect things to be the same. I don't expect you to just forgive me or forget what happened. I'm not asking you to do that." He steps even closer, now only a few inches away. "I'm asking for a chance to show you that I'm still the man you knew, that I haven't changed, not where it matters." For a moment, there's nothing but silence again, but this time, it's different. It's not heavy with tension or unspoken anger. It's a moment of shared understanding, of vulnerability. Amy feels the walls inside her start to crack just a little. The years of pain, the hurt she's carried alone, seem to dissolve for a fraction of a second. She can almost feel the old connection between them flicker to life again, like a spark that could grow into something more. Amy's chest rises and falls as she breathes deeply, her eyes still locked on his. She opens her mouth, ready to speak, but once again the words fail her. Instead, she takes a tentative step forward, closing the distance between them, and before she can second-guess herself, she whispers, almost to herself, "I missed you, Ty." The words hang in the air, simple yet profound. They don't need to be said loudly, they don't need to be repeated. They are enough. Ty's expression shifts. His eyes soften, and for the first time since he returned, a flicker of hope shines through. He reaches out slowly, cautiously, as if unsure of how she'll respond. His hand hovers just a few inches from her arm, but the distance between them seems so small now. So close. And then, without hesitation, he touches her, his fingers brushing against her skin, sending a ripple of warmth through her. The touch is gentle, tentative, but it's enough. It speaks volumes. Ty is here, he's real, and he's not going anywhere this time. The unspoken words. The world feels like it's holding its breath again, as if waiting for something to happen. Amy stands there, her eyes fixed on Ty's hand, still hovering near her arm, and for a moment, she forgets how to breathe. The warmth of his touch, the way his skin brushes against hers, feels like a jolt to her system. Everything she's been running from, all the hurt, the fear of him never coming back, seems to melt away in the softness of that simple contact. She closes her eyes for a second, trying to steady herself, but the emotions are overwhelming. How did he come back into her life like this? Was it really this simple? Ty's hand moves slowly, carefully, as if he's afraid to break the fragile moment between them. His fingers finally meet the curve of her arm, the touch both familiar and foreign all at once. Amy's heart is racing, her whole body alive with the sensation of him being there, of him finally being back. But the silence that stretches between them feels deafening now. It's not awkward, it's not cold, it's something deeper, something that can't be expressed in words. All those years apart, all the questions that haven't been asked, all the pain and longing they've both carried, it's all in the air around them, swirling like a storm, but neither of them knows how to begin to unravel it. Amy swallows hard, blinking back the tears that threaten to spill over. She wants to ask him everything, why he left, what he's been through, why he couldn't come back sooner, but she knows it's not the right time. She's not ready to dive into all the broken pieces of their past just yet. She's not ready to hear the answers, because what if they're not what she wants to hear? What if he was only gone because he didn't want to come back? But Ty seems to read her mind. He sees the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes, the way her breath catches, the way she pulls back slightly, like she's afraid of something, afraid of falling back into the past, afraid of trusting him again. He knows her too well. He knows how much she's been through, how hard it's been to move on without him. He knows that the road back to each other won't be easy. It never was. But he's here now, and that's all that matters. "I'm not asking for anything, Amy," he says softly, his voice a low murmur, as if the words are something precious, fragile. "I'm not asking for you to forgive me, or to forget everything that happened. I just want to be here, with you, if you'll let me." His words hang in the air like a question, like an offering, but it's clear that he's not demanding anything in return. He's not here to force her to accept him. He's here because he wants to be, because deep down, he knows that whatever time they lost, whatever mistakes were made, can't erase what they shared. Not completely. He doesn't expect her to rush into his arms, to forget the pain he caused. But maybe, just maybe, they can start again. Slowly. One step at a time. Amy stands there, the weight of his words sinking in. She feels the pull to him. The same pull that's always been there, the one she's been trying to ignore for so long. It's a quiet, steady pull that tugs at her heart, but it's buried beneath so many layers of hurt and fear. She wants to take a step forward, to let go of all the walls she's built around herself, but part of her is still scared. What if they can't get back to what they had? What if they've both changed too much? She looks up at him, her eyes searching his face for any trace of the man she once knew. But what she sees now isn't just the man who left. It's a man who has grown, who has come back with a different kind of strength, one that comes from surviving, from enduring the kind of pain that only time can bring. He's still Ty, but he's been through things she doesn't fully understand yet, things he's not ready to talk about, things he might never be able to explain. But in this moment, she doesn't need answers. She just needs him to stay. I don't know if I can just forget everything, Amy says, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know if I can ever be the same person I was before. Ty's gaze softens. He takes another step closer, his hand still resting on her arm, as if reassuring her that it's okay. You don't have to be, he says, his voice steady but full of warmth. I'm not asking for you to be anyone you're not. I'm just asking for the chance to be here, to make things right if you'll let me. Amy feels the weight of his words, and for the first time in what feels like forever, she allows herself to relax just a little. She doesn't have to forgive him right now. She doesn't have to have all the answers. She just needs to take it one moment at a time, to let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, they can find their way back to each other. Ty looks at her, his expression soft, but filled with something deeper. Hope. For the first time in a long time, he believes in something again. And as Amy stands there looking at him, she feels that same hope stirring inside her. It's fragile, but it's there. She doesn't know what will happen next, but she knows one thing. This is just the beginning. A new beginning. The silence between them has shifted. It's no longer heavy with uncertainty, but instead filled with the weight of something raw, something real. As Amy stands in front of Ty, the world around them seems to blur. Everything outside of this moment fades into the background. Time feels like it's stretching, every second pulling them closer together. There are no grand gestures, no declarations of love. Just a quiet understanding that they've both been through too much to waste another moment pretending they don't care. They do care. Ty takes a small step back, giving Amy the space to breathe, to think. He doesn't want to crowd her. He knows that this moment is fragile, that they're walking a fine line between the past and whatever comes next. His hand drops, slowly from her arm, but the connection they've built lingers in the air between them, unspoken but undeniable. He's here. He's real. And despite everything that's happened, there's still a part of him that belongs here, with her, in the place they once shared so much of their lives. Amy watches him, her heart racing in her chest. She feels an overwhelming urge to reach for him again, to pull him back into her arms and make all the years apart disappear. But she stops herself. She knows this isn't something they can fix in one moment. She knows that healing will take time, maybe more time than she's ready to give. But for the first time, she also knows that they have time. They have now. She takes a deep breath and looks at him, really looks at him, and in that moment, everything becomes clearer. There's no need for perfection. No need to pretend they can pick up exactly where they left off. What matters is that they're both here alive, with their scars and their histories, and they've found their way back to this place. Together. I don't know what the future holds, Amy says softly, her voice steady but vulnerable, but I want to try. I want to see where we go from here. Ty's eyes soften at her words. His heart is full in a way it hasn't been in years. He steps closer, but this time he doesn't rush. There's no urgency, no pressure. Just two people who've been through enough to know that sometimes the best thing you can do is simply be there. I'm in, Amy, he replies quietly. For however long it takes. I'm in. Amy's chest tightens at his words, and for the first time in a long while, she feels the sting of tears threatening to spill over. But this time, they're not tears of loss or fear. They're tears of hope. Tears of a possibility she never thought she'd get back. a possibility that feels real again. Ty reaches out, his hand hovering near her, asking for permission. She looks at him, her heart in her eyes, and without a second thought, she steps into his embrace. This time there's no hesitation. The warmth of his body, the steady rhythm of his heartbeat against hers, this is real. This is them. And for the first time in years, everything feels like it's falling into place. They stand there for a long time, just holding each other. The world continues around them, the rustling of the leaves, the distant calls of animals, the quiet hum of the ranch, but none of it matters right now. In this moment, it's just Amy and Ty. It's the beginning of something new, something that doesn't erase the past but builds on it, something that acknowledges the hurt, the loss and the pain, but also holds space for the healing, the love, and the hope. The sun has dipped below the horizon now, and the sky is darkening. But even as the night settles in, the warmth between them lingers. Amy pulls back slightly, her forehead resting against Ty's. For a brief moment, there's a sense of peace, of certainty, something that's been missing for far too long. "I missed you," she whispers. The words a quiet confession that holds more weight than anything else she could say. Ty smiles, his thumb brushing her cheek. "I missed you too. More than you know." They stand there for a moment longer, just breathing, just existing in this shared space. And then side by side, they begin to walk back toward the house. Slowly. Together. The future is uncertain, but in this moment, with their hands just barely brushing, they know one thing for sure. They're not walking it alone. As they step into the quiet night, the sky above them is filled with stars, and the ranch, once a place of longing and loneliness, now feels like home again. And for the first time in a long time, Amy dares to believe that this is just the beginning. The first chapter of a new story, their story, the promise of tomorrow. The world outside of them seems to slip away as they walk toward the house side by side, the night wrapping around them like a blanket. There's no rush, no need for words. It's the simple act of being together, in sync, that feels like the greatest comfort. The distant chirping of crickets, the soft rustle of the wind through the trees, it all fades into the background. The only thing that matters is the quiet, steady rhythm of their steps, together in the same space again. Amy walks slightly ahead, her hand brushing against the rough edges of the fence as she moves. Ty's footsteps are just behind her, steady but distant enough to respect the space between them. The stars above shine brightly, casting a soft glow over the landscape. And it's as if the universe itself is watching them, reminding them that no matter how broken they felt, they had always been destined to come back to this moment. The house is just up ahead, a warm glow spilling from the windows as if it's waiting for them. As Amy reaches the porch steps, she pauses, her breath catching in her throat for a moment. She turns back to look at Ty, who has stopped too, his hands shoved deep in his pockets. He's watching her, not with expectation, but with an understanding that seems to speak louder than words ever could. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" Amy asks quietly, her voice still carrying the weight of so many unanswered questions. There's a hint of vulnerability in her words, as if she's afraid of what might come next. Ty smiles softly, a quiet reassurance in the curve of his lips. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." There's a pause, a moment where Amy looks at him, really looks at him. His words aren't just empty promises. There's something real in them now, something solid. She's heard him say things like this before, years ago, when their world felt unshakable. But now, after everything, it feels different. This time, she believes him. She wants to believe him. Ty steps closer, just enough to close the distance, but he doesn't crowd her. He gives her the space to make her choice, to take her time. "Whatever happens next, Amy, I'll be here. Not because I have to be, but because I want to be." His voice is steady, strong, carrying the weight of all the things they've both been through. "I'm here for you. I'm here for us." Amy feels the tension in her chest ease just slightly. Her lips tremble in a small, hopeful smile. It's the first time in a long time that she's felt like she might be able to trust someone again. And for the first time, she allows herself to truly believe that maybe, just maybe, things can work out. Without thinking, without hesitation, Amy reaches out, her hand finding his. It's a simple gesture, but it speaks volumes. She doesn't need grand declarations. She doesn't need everything to be perfect. She just needs him here, beside her, ready to face whatever comes next. Ty's fingers curl around hers, his grip firm but gentle. There's no need for more words. In the quiet, in the way their hands fit together so naturally, there's an unspoken promise. A promise that they'll face the unknown together, one step at a time. The past, with all its mistakes and heartache, will always be a part of them, but it doesn't have to define them. It doesn't have to be the end. Together they turn back toward the porch, stepping up the stairs and into the warmth of the house. The future is still unclear, still uncertain, but for the first time, they're not afraid. They're not running from it. They're moving forward. And as the door clicks shut behind them, a sense of peace settles over both of them. There are no more questions lingering in the air, no more doubts, no more wondering if they'll ever make it back to this place. They're here, they're together, and whatever tomorrow brings, they'll face it as they always should have, from the beginning. The stars outside flicker in the quiet night, and for the first time, Amy allows herself to let go of the past, to embrace the unknown. Because in this moment, with Ty beside her, anything is possible, and they're ready for whatever comes next. It's a new beginning, and this time they're not walking it alone.